Hey watchers, it's your girl Big Ish. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching Black People Watch. This is a review channel and I will be reviewing for this frightening Friday, Nurse Ratched. Well, it's just Ratched and it is a prequel or supposed to be a prequel to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Now, in the beginning of this video, I always post NutriBurst and ISO-T. Because let me tell you something, I am a very big girl. You probably can't tell because I'm always sitting down, but I am 6'2", I am very tall, and I am heavy. I am overweight. I've lost at least 15 pounds just drinking the tea alone. I do not exercise. I do here and there periodically, but I don't exercise as I should, like most of us. Most of my day is spent, I work a 9-to-5 job. I sit at a desk all day, and when I'm done, I have 3 kids and a husband that I tend to, and I'm very, very busy. Not any busier than anybody else. I don't really have an excuse for why I don't exercise like I should, but like most of us, by the end of the day, I'm extremely tired. I am on the north end of 40. I'm 40 north, and I have hormonal issues and it's very hard for me. I have vitamin deficiencies and a lot of things that I have going. When I tell you that ISO-T and the NRG pills have literally changed my life, they really have. I go through a lot with my weight and I struggle with vitamin deficiencies and I have an autoimmune disorder. I have arthritis and a million things going on, and I'm not complaining because I know there are people out here who are super sick, who have cancer, that are debilitating. I do have issues, however, that prevent me from living my best life. And I think that ISO Plus T and NutriBurst and the NRG pills have definitely changed that. So I want you to really click the link down below. Get yourself some NutriBurst and ISO-T and try it. You will lose 5 pounds in 5 days, literally, just with the tea alone. The tea does help you go to the bathroom. It is a lot of water weight that you lose, but listen, it's a kick in your immune system. It gives you a boost. It gives you a burst, and it has helped me. I wouldn't be promoting it if it had. I want you to click the link down below and get yourself some. I mean, really, you got to do it. I am in my bedroom today because my son is getting his room remodeled. He sleeps on the first floor and his stuff is everywhere. It's also in my office where I usually film, and he's in there today, and it's just a lot going on. So it was just easier for me today to film in my bedroom and talk to you guys from here. I'm really excited about my son's room being done so he can get off my couch and we can go back to life as normal. But we are in a fixer-upper home, so we have quite a few more rooms to do before the house is completed. And so this is going to be going on for a long time. So one day, hopefully, I'll be able to take you guys on a tour of the house once it's completed and share our new home with you. It's not really new. We've been here 5 years. But we're still remodeling, and once we finish remodeling, the home will be new. Okay, new to me, new to us. But so anyway, back to Ratched. This is a Ryan Murphy series. It's on Netflix and it's getting hammered by the critics. It stars Sarah Paulson as Nurse Ratched. Now, Nurse Ratched comes from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson. It is a poignant film and movie. Once doing my research on Ratched, I realized that Mildred Ratched comes from that movie. I had never seen that movie, and people were saying throughout the internet that if you haven't seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it's one of the best films in cinema that you can possibly see. You got to take a look at it. The Nurse Mildred Ratched. So the original movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest starred Jack Nicholson. He played Randall Murphy, and they called him Murphy for short in the movie. And also it starred Louise Fletcher, who played Nurse Ratched, and she actually won Best Supporting Actress that year for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And Will Sampson, he played Chief, and the story is told through Chief's eyes. He was a Indian American He was in a mental facility, and Nurse Ratched was the head nurse. So Jack Nicholson's character was very crazy and very wild and very free and very brazen. And, his character wanted to get out of being on a work detail at the prison and figured that being committed to a mental institution would be his saving grace. And he slowly but surely realizes that it's not so. It's not as cake as he thought it would be. Murphy comes to realize that most of the people that are in the mental institution are voluntary, and he can't understand why. But a lot of the people who are in the mental institution with him are voluntary. What makes this movie so relevant and so heart-wrenching is the fact that history, there has been a stigma attached to mental institutions. Here in Philadelphia, we had the Byberry Mental Hospital that was shut down. They were shut down because of the practices that they did to their patients, and some of them were just unspeakable. You're talking about lobotomies, electroshock therapy, water therapy. It was just really heart-wrenching to hear about some of the stories that some of the people endured in these mental institutions throughout the century. They thought that homosexuality was a mental disorder, and they would try and treat it with experiments, and they would use electroshock therapy and do all kind of horrific things to people to try and change them from being homosexual and being gay. It was very sad, and I'm glad that they touched on that. Nurse Ratched became a figure in film. Like, after One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the character Nurse Ratched shows up in a lot of different movies, a lot of different cartoons, and she has lived as this infamous villain throughout cinematic history. And after I watched Nurse Ratched, I had to see where this character came from. So I went and rented One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest on Amazon. It was $3.99, and I was like, what the heck, I'm not doing anything. I think it was last Friday, and I sat and watched it because it's supposed to be this great cinematic movie. So I'm watching it, and I'm waiting for this horrible person, Nurse Ratched, to come through. Now, mind you, she is very stern, and she is very set in her ways, and she's very orderly. But I didn't see the hatred that everybody had for her. Now, mind you, this movie was released back in 1974. So it was a different time then. And so a lot of people said during the premiere of the movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, there is a point where Murphy strangles Nurse Ratched because she does something that affects another patient and it's detrimental. And Murphy is so upset by this and so hurt that he actually goes to strangle Nurse Ratched, and he gets his hands around her neck and he gives her a good jolt. And they said that the entire movie premiere stood up and clapped because Murphy was like trying to kill Nurse Ratched. And while she was very stern and set in her ways, I'm gonna tell you, she wasn't that bad to me. I wasn't like, oh my God, she's horrible. I have a boss that's worse than her, actually. I know quite a few people who are worse than her. So, I don't know, I understand maybe at the time, back in the 1970s, she was considered, just an old battle axe. But, for today's standards, honey, she wasn't that bad. Now, in the series, the Ryan Murphy series, Ratched on Netflix, let me tell you, the outfits, the lighting, the cinematography was absolutely beautiful. The cars, the settings, they really did a great job with that. People are very upset about this show, and here's the reason why I think. A lot of people complained about the storyline, that it seemed like it was an extension of Ryan Murphy's American Horror Story, which I am a fan of. A lot of people are angry about the fact that he keeps using the same characters over and over again. Sarah Paulson, I love her. I think she is great in American Horror Story. However, I did think that this show was an extension of American Horror Story, and it isn't. And what I thought was, and I'm just looking down at my phone, you guys, just to look at my notes. But if you're doing a whole different show and it's not an extension of American Horror Story, you could have used another actress. I think Sarah Paulson did a good job as her role in Nurse Ratched. However, I don't think she was given a lot with the script, because the original Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is more of a psychological thriller. It's not a horror film, which Ratched is. And it's supposed to be a prequel to Mildred Ratched before One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. If that's the case, then more of a psychological person, as opposed to this being is more so related to American Horror Story, the horror, the graphic killings, the slicing off of the arms and legs and all of that. There was one breakout star in this for me, Sophia Okonedo, who played Charlotte Wells in this series. She was fantastic. She played a woman that suffered from multiple personality disorder. She was amazing. Her acting was incredible. And, you know, sometimes when you see people play these roles where they have to take on more than one character, or they're psychotic, you worry about their mental state. And I truly worried about her mental state after this. I'm like, she needs therapy after playing all of these different characters. There is a nurse, Nurse Bucket, who is more of a psychological villain in this than Mildred Ratched. So I was more scared of her than anybody else in this movie. Ratched is good in the cinematography. However, there is some holes in the storyline. I will say that. There are people who are commenting that they couldn't watch it. However, it's enjoyable. I found it enjoyable. I watched every episode. People are giving it a hard time. I really don't know why. If you like blood and gore, it's not a whole lot of that in this, but there is some true to Ryan Murphy's nature. That's just him. It does mimic American Horror Story. It really does. I thought it was another American Horror Story. I really did. So, you know, there's that. If you don't have a problem with that, you're going to enjoy it. It's something to watch. It's getting close to Halloween. It's Frightening Fridays. Oh, I'm so nerdy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I enjoy all the frightening movies that come out. I'm typically not a person that likes scary movies, but I do love a thriller, and I do love like a psychological thriller, and I like a little stabbing here and there too. Listen, you know, when I was little, I loved horror movies. I don't know what happened, and I think what happens is, somebody told me this, when I was little, I'm talking 7, 8, 9 years old, I would watch the super duper horror films. And in my city, there was this lady named Stella who came on Saturday night, and she had this show that was called Saturday Night Dead. It was after Saturday Night Live came on. It was called Saturday Night Dead, and it was starring Stella. And she would have old, you know, vampire movies, black and whites, all kinds of stuff. And I would sit after Saturday Night Live, which I shouldn't have been watching at that age, but I did, and my mom did let me. My mom didn't care. I would watch Saturday Night Dead and all of the movies that came on that after that. And as I got older, and you start realizing that some of these monsters are really out here, and there are people out here who are truly insane and crazy, it doesn't become fun to watch stuff like that, and people who, you know, are sick. But my daughters, who are 10 and 12, love horror movies. And so it's good to kind of relive my childhood through them, because they are loving it right now, and I am loving it all over again too. So, you know, I'm going to watch a couple of horror movies this month. How about you? Comment down below. Do you remember Saturday Night Dead? Were you a fan of Stella? Do you remember who I'm talking about? There's an Elvira, but there's a Stella. Some horror stories that you like. Comment down below your favorite horror stories. Give me some likes, you guys. I need some likes. I know you're watching. Like it. Subscribe to my channel. Get the notification bell. And I will catch you next time. Bye.